All right, welcome back everybody to a new edition of Dollar Bin Digging Finds. This is the article and video where I'm actually going to show off all the books that I actually did pick up for basically a buck or two. This week I got a bunch of books for $1, but I also got a bunch of books that I did pay $2 a piece for. So I'm going to consider them in the cheap bin category, and we're just going to share them all here, and I'll tell you which ones were $2 if I paid more than $1 for them. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this second series of Dollar Bin books that I'm presenting you each week. So please like, subscribe, hit that alert button. Make sure you're getting notified when new content is dropping, as I got new stuff hitting my channel, Rennavision, basically every day now. We got 2 different heat checks now. I got a new Star Wars show that I'm doing with my buddy Mike Morello and Ben C on Sundays now. So there's a lot of fun stuff, and I still got more stuff coming. So make sure you're all subbed up and you get notified when it's all dropping. So just hang on for a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back with the books. All right, so welcome again. These are the books that I actually picked up this past week in those cheap boxes. I'm gonna break it down like I have been lately, and just into kind of some subcategories. I'm not gonna show you all the stuff that I bought. This is just kind of a little bit of a highlight reel, because if I showed you everything, we might be here all day or all night, depending on when you're watching this. So we're gonna start in with some of the dollar books that I managed to grab this week from those cheap bins. You know, sometimes those boxes are $2, but for the most part, most of these books are for $1. That being said, my first category of books I'm going to share with you are the artist books. These are books that I picked up strictly because I love the cover art, or I like the artist, or they just simply caught my eye just based on the cover art alone. So with that, let's go into this first stack of books. Now, it's no secret, I'm a big fan of Adam Hughes. So me finding this Hammer of the Gods 3, I didn't even know this cover was out there. So flipping through a box and finding this, I was pretty excited. I dig the style. It's pretty cool. I like it, and I'm happy that I grabbed it. I think it does okay. Old school Hughes, Legionnaires. This one doesn't do bad on the back issue market. I grabbed an X-Men classic. He had a nice little cover run there. I just like this Storm. I wasn't sure if I had this one or not, so I figured, safe side, pick it up again. So those are all 3 Hughes books. Outside of that, I grabbed this. This is actually the last issue of this Deadpool cable run, this is issue 25, and this is I want to say it's a Simone Bianchi. I don't know if I'm saying his name properly, but I dig it. I like it, so I figured I would grab it for $1. I think I paid $2 for this one, but this is a Hulk, early Hulk. This might have been McFarlane's first cover when he did those. He had a nice little cover on Hulk. I think this might have been the first one. This 333. Yeah, it's 333. I think this might have been the first McFarlane on those Hulk covers. I mean, mostly in silhouette, but it's still kind of a cool book. And for $2, I think I grabbed this one for $2. It was worth the grab to me. Then I grabbed this random Tomb Raider. I think this might be Popman. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but just like this anime manga style. It just was different, so I figured for $1 I was grabbing it. And I know I've grabbed this one before, but I also do like Michael Turner. So this Witchblade 150, which reuses some of his old art. I know I found this a few times, but every time I see it, I just grab it for $1. I think it's like $10 you can get for something like that if you were to flip it. So again, artists, sometimes you just see a cover that just grabs you. So for $1 or $2, sometimes you just grab it just for that. So my next category are some reprints. I am also a big proponent of picking up these reprints of these classic comics, because, they don't make a ton of them, as many as you might think, and some of them do all right, and I just kind of like having them on hand. So I'm a big fan of grabbing these Marvel milestones. So I grabbed this, first Iron Man, Tales of Suspense. I grabbed this just randomly. I don't need, I got plenty of these ASM 149s, but I don't know, like I said, I see these milestone books. I just grab them for cheap just because, just out of habit. Just like having them on hand. Avengers 16 reprint. Also milestones. Can't go wrong with a Fantastic Four 1 reprint. Yeah, why not? And this book is the regular book on this has been heating up, so I figured I'd grab the milestone. This is Iron Fist 14 for Sabretooth. The regular book's getting pricey, and I don't have it, so I grabbed the reprint because this is what I can afford. Same goes with this House of Secrets 92. But switching over to DC, they have this Millennium-like edition with this gold up here, this gold foil. It's like embossed. It's pretty nice, actually. So for a reprint, I grab these also when I see them too. I typically only go for like the key issues or the the big issues that garner our interest. But sometimes when they're just cheap enough, I just grab whatever they might have, just because. Why not? So those are the reprints that I picked up this week. And we're also going to look at some later printings. Now, for the most part, I think most of these are second prints, but I might have a third print snuck in here as well. And I don't know, people are loving these like second, third, fourth. These later printings are really taking off. I don't know what it is these days, but I think it's a mixture of just, it's something different to collect for a lot of people. And some of these are actually hard to find. You don't see them all over the place, especially if they're reprints from years ago. So I grabbed these first couple. These are from like, I think like 2010, 2011. These go way back. This is Daredevil 508. This is the Shadowland, and it's a pretty cool reprint. Pretty cool second print, I should say, not reprint. The cover just kind of grabbed me, and I saw a second print, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm grabbing it. I think this was $2, but I wasn't leaving it behind. And I think when I looked it up real quick, I think this does all right. This might be like a $30 book. So that wasn't too bad of a grab. Just grab it on instinct. Just like this Avengers #1, this second print for Avengers 1. I mean, I've seen tons of the first print of this, but I've never seen this second print before. And this also does pretty well. I just grabbed it because I like the Kang cover, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, this sells pretty well. So I might actually pick this one for one of the books I'm going to spotlight in the article this week. But that's what I'm talking about. You see something, if it catches your eye, it looks different, you haven't seen it before, maybe it's something. So just grab it for $1 or $2 because, why not? I grabbed 2 of these. These are the Incredible Hulk 106 second prints. Again, they don't do too bad. I saw them in the box. I figured, you know what, might as well grab them. And there was also a third print sitting there with them of the same issue, so I grabbed that too. But surprisingly, the third print doesn't do as well as the second print when I just quickly researched them. I mean, sometimes that's the case. I don't know if it's just because the cover on this second print's better or lower print. I'm not sure of the reason right now. Just again, quick research showed third print was a lot cheaper than the second print. But still, just grab them if it's cheap enough and it looks interesting. You may not have seen it before. It's a good bet that it might be hard to find. Now, what are we moving on to next? We have newsstands. I grabbed a couple of newsstands. Now, I'm not one to grab just basically any newsstand out there because I don't think, in most cases, newsstand means much of anything for most books. It's depending on the time. That being said, I usually go for that newer type stuff. So when I saw this Wonder Woman 614, and it just happened to look, and it was a newsstand, I was like, huh, I think this is in that 2010 kind of range. In a newsstand, that's just kind of odd. So I'm just going to go and grab it. I couldn't even find a copy of this listed anywhere when I quickly looked. There were some other Wonder Woman books in this run that were newsstands, and they were very, very expensive. They might have been listed by Mile High, so that could have just been an inflated price where they're listing these newsstands for like $60 just because, I guess. But yeah, no copies that I could compare it to, but not something I would think is very easy to find because, again, this is getting near that weird time when they don't make that many newsstands. And also going with just Spawn. I will grab basically any Spawn newsstand, even if they're those early ones that have a higher print run. So I grabbed this 12. Easy to see that barcode on the cover when the cover's all black. And then I randomly saw this issue 52, and I figured I would grab this one too because this got a little bit later in the run, so I figured it was a little bit harder to find. And you get this cool Savage Dragon cover, and I figured I'd grab it. This is a Greg Capullo, and I think McFarlane might have inked it. But newsstand. Figured give it a shot, right? And finally, I have a few oddities for you. And this is where I actually got the most excited when I was digging, when I find that weird stuff. Now, first book is one that I've covered before in Dollar Bin Digging. I have found it before, and every time I see it, I'll grab it because they're not that easy to come by. This New Gen #1, I think it's six-issue series. I think I actually grabbed a #2 as well in the pile. And it's just, it's an oddball book. So I figured I would grab it. I think it was rumored to be adapted into something. Still don't know if that's coming or not. But again, for $1, I was picking it up. just like it was only a few weeks ago, I brought this up because I found this book, and it's weird that I found another one, but I found another Ratchet and Clank 2. None of the other issues, which I'd like to find, but issue 2 again. So I had to grab it for $1. You know. I know my buddy Topher will get a kick out of this one. I just saw it, hoping to find a #1, but it's issue 2. I had to grab this random issue of Mantech. I don't know if any of you out there remember this toy line, but I didn't remember it at first until I had to look it up, and then I saw.
To show you more than 1 million different combinations. Solartech's head on Lasertech, or Negatech's legs on Terratech's body. But 1 million combinations? Impossible. It would take 10 days. Every part of every Mantech figure can be attached to every other Mantech figure to make wild new creations.
Triggered those memories in my mind of, like, I do remember those toys where you kind of switch out body parts and add things. It was a very weird toy line from the 80s, and apparently it had a comic book produced by Archie, so I grabbed issue 2. Now, Ashcans. Ashcans are an interesting collectible in that some of them are tough to find and are desirable, while others nobody really cares about. But I always double check when I see them, and if it's something that I'm mildly interested in, I'll usually just grab them. That being said, this first one, I'm a big fan of this series. I'm happy I found this Ashcan. This is a Fear Agent, and this is a full-sized. Even though it says Ashcan, this is a full-size comic. It's a little thin, but I mean, you know, it is full size, basically. And this actually does pretty well. So I was pretty happy to find this for $1. And going with the smaller sized, I found this little Winona Earp Ashcan as well. And this also does pretty well. I did not know anything about this book. I just heard the title. I know there was a show. And I saw this tiny little Ashcan, and I figured, you know what? I'm just going to grab it because why not? And then when I looked it up, I was like, you know what? This thing actually sells pretty well. Or at least the asking prices are pretty high right now. So I grabbed this on pure instinct. And then my final random grab were these 2 copies of J2, which feature, I think, one of Wolverine's daughters from some alternate universe or whatever. There's 2 of them in there. So for $1, I was grabbing both. I think they do all right. I forget this one's name, maybe like a Wild Thing or something like that. I don't know, but there's 2 copies of it. I figured, you know, both in good shape. I'm going to grab them both for $1 each because, you know, why not? So those are the books that I picked up this week in those cheap boxes, those $1 to $2 books that just, you know, call my name when I want to go flipping through the boxes. It's always a good time when you can go flipping through a box and start grabbing some treasures. So that's what I did, and these are the treasures that I found. I'm going to pick, you know, 3 or 4 of them and drop them in the article over on comicbookinvest.com. So please go check out the article so you can get a little bit more info. I'll throw some prices out there of how much some of these things might be selling for. And please, again, like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you know when your new content is dropping. And I will see you guys, you know, next time.